Forza Horizon 5 is a game about cars, and I have a love-hate relationship with them. I daydream of the RX-7 I'll buy when my diamond play button finally arrives in the mail because you just liked and subscribed, but on the other hand, I've driven almost every car there is on the market. They're all the same. Think of all the things that exist in the universe. There's planets, trees, houses, birds, trains, cheese and crackers, marbles, and cars. Some people spend 10,000 and some people spend 100,000 only to get a chair with wheels. So why do I still want one?
This is brilliant, but I like this.
Well, cars go vroom, and that's pretty cool. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about this ethical paradox too much because I'm poor. So I'll have to settle for driving all these expensive cars around virtually while role-playing as this trust-funded fuck. And unfortunately for you, my dear friend, all the money in the world can't buy back your arms and legs I've just taken from you. And I also took your penis. As far as the story goes, Horizon 5 is pretty dumb. You're in Mexico, a country where 44% of the population lives under the poverty line, and you're driving cars around that would feed families for over a lifetime. While you're driving them around, you're also fucking up their livelihood and property with no regard. If the Forza Horizon Festival existed in real life, it would be the worst thing ever. Worse than war. The game starts off with a bang, with an action-packed intro, and it follows it up with painful tutorials on how to use the menus. Functional limbs are entirely optional in this game, and I think that's a nice touch. As far as the actual driving goes, if you've played Forza or Gran Turismo before, you know what you're getting into. The realism factor can be scaled back, so if you suck at driving, or still don't know that hitting a hairpin turn at 200 kilometers an hour will prevent you from continuing to live, you can find a sweet spot that lets you learn while you still win matches. I used to get pretty frustrated at games like this, but the driving lines and forgiving idiot-proofing, like anti-lock and traction control, make it a lot easier to get into. One thing worth noting if you're starting out is that slower cars are way easier to learn on, and Horizon doesn't really ease you into the fast cars, but that's okay because I'm not Ryan Dunn. Slow or fast, there's a wide variety of cars to drive. Horizon has a lot of everything. There's street racing, Baja, proper racing, drifting, battle royale. It gives you plenty to play with. I loved the dirt rally games growing up, and Horizon capturing some of these elements was a huge plus for me. There are occasionally these adventure missions which pop up every XP milestone where you have to race a train or whatever. You go over these jumps in slow motion and they always let you win. I found them kind of boring. The user-created races are much more interesting and will no doubt get pretty wild as time goes on. Jumping into races is never a slog, loading up or restarting is always pretty fast. The online has a neat feature where it will ghost your car when it expects that someone is going to be an absolute dickhead and try and T-bone your car into Salt Bay's flaccid dick. You can upgrade any car with new parts, and some of them actually change how the engine sounds. Paint customization is everything you could ask for, and if you're lazy, you can download other users' paint jobs. Let your creativity run wild and make any car an extension of yourself. You get new cars mostly by earning credits from winning races or from wheel spins, which they bless you with pretty frequently. I don't particularly mind the wheel spins as far as a mechanic. They are pretty generous in Horizon 5 with dishing out cool cars, and it doesn't take you too much time to buy any car you have your eyes on. Visually, the game looks great and is a solid performer. With my 1660, it runs at a pretty stable 60 frames at 1080p set almost to max. Cars have been looking pretty good in games for a while now, but they shine real nice in Horizon 5. The audio is exceptional. I've always found that cars sound like garbage in video games. How hard can it be to put a microphone behind a car? But anyways, they sound pretty satisfying and punchy in Horizon 5. The music is carefully tied to some of the game events, amping up right when you cross the finish line, but the music is pretty bland and I turned it off in favor of Spotify. The options menu is pretty wonderful with a lot of customizations. It will certainly satisfy any tisms you might be waiting diagnosis on. The main UX in this game is pretty dreadful. There are a lot of buttons which took me ages to figure out what they do, maybe because I didn't listen to the tutorials. And what the fuck is Forza Vista? Just call it View Car. Every week, the game changes seasons. In Horizon 4, this brought pretty dramatic changes to the landscape, but Mexico doesn't even have 4 seasons, so there isn't much of a difference. There's some storms and flowers in the summer, and in the winter the volcano has some snow on it, but it's not super obvious you're in another season other than that. At least the map is huge with a few different biomes. Somewhere in this mess of menus is monetization, but don't even bother looking for it because you'll be struggling to find it in the first place. Forza Horizon 5 gives you a lot in the $60 package, and it's a breath of fresh air compared to other recent AAA titles releasing, drowning you in microtransaction bullshit. Hats off to Microsoft for this one, but I don't quite respect you yet. I know you're an awful company. The main point I want to hammer home is that this game is very accessible and it gives you a lot to do, all of which is pretty fun, despite some very minor faults. There's some obvious passion behind this project, and if you're interested in driving games at all, Forza Horizon 5 definitely has at least one thing that's worth your while, but you'll probably love the entire package. It's very well optimized, it sounds great, and the cars go fast. 5 stars.